Hey everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time for the final episode of the Halloween 15, episode 15. And this time out, I wanted to take a look at The Invisible Man from 2020, starring Elizabeth Moss, Oliver Jackson Cohen, Storm Reed, Aldous Hodge. This movie came as really a big surprise. I did not expect to enjoy this movie anywhere near as much as I did. Mainly because it is part of Universal Studios' new Dark Universe, which is Universal Studios trying to reimagine their classic monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Invisible Man, Wolfman, into sort of a Marvel Cinematic Universe type thing. And this sort of fell apart when Tom Cruise was in The Mummy a few years ago, and that totally bombed at the box office. But I guess it's back on because The Invisible Man did good at the box office. But I didn't see it in the theater. This was my first time watching it. Because it was part of the Dark Universe and because The Mummy was so bad, or at least did so bad, I had low expectations for this. But I was really surprised. This is a film that is actually quite a bit more intelligent than a typical horror film is. And it starts with a feeling of dread and tension and anxiety, and that atmosphere sort of permeates the movie through the entire thing. The opening sequence sort of kicks this feeling off where Elizabeth Moss's character, Cecilia Cass, she's obviously trying to escape from what I assume is either her husband or her lover, and he lives, or they live, in this very highly secure, very ritzy looking mansion type thing with the security cameras and alarms and whatnot. And she has obviously very carefully planned this escape. And the way she does it, it's like she's expecting to be stopped by something unseen. And what she's fearing is the consequences of being caught. But because of the title of the movie, the audience, the viewer is feeling that maybe something else is going to happen because there is no real introduction to this film. It just drops you right into this scenario, and you're just as anxious and tense as Cecilia is for the rest of the movie. Even when she finds shelter from her ex at a friend's house, she's never comfortable, and Elizabeth Moss does a fantastic job of just conveying this with her body language and her facial expressions. You know that there's this immense emotional weight, and she starts talking about the abuse she's taken from Adrian, is the name of her ex. And then things start happening in the house, and the only way to explain them would be that there is an invisible person there taunting Cecilia. And of course, nobody believes her that this is happening. But because of the nature of Adrian's job, she is convinced that something is up, very much in line with an invisible person doing these things. And I won't ruin or give away anything in terms of how that's handled and how this is different from other adaptations of this film that have come before, or adaptations of this character that have come before, because this is obviously based on the seminal H.G. Wells novel from the late 1800s. It's been changed up quite a bit. It's been made more relevant to today's societal norms. But I just, because of the cinematography, because of the direction, the camera work, and the score, I have not been this immersed into a horror film in quite a long time. It's an absolutely just fantastic experience. It's a little bit of a slow burn, so if you're not into slow burn movies that take their time getting going, you might find it a little boring, but I prefer movies like that sometimes. And I thought that this was absolutely the right take on the script and the direction. So I really have to give this one a 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. It does have some scares, but it's also more about tension and suspense. It's a thriller every bit as much as it is a horror movie, and it's got some sci-fi elements. It's an absolutely incredible movie. And I really liked it. If you can't tell, I enjoyed myself immensely watching it, but I don't want to give anything away, so I don't want to get into too many specifics. But definitely, if you're on the fence, check out The Invisible Man starring Elizabeth Moss. She 100% carries this movie, and if you know her from The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, you know what she's capable of, and she knocks it out of the park in this movie. So there you go. That's my review of The Invisible Man from 2020, and that concludes this year's episodes, or this year's version of the Halloween 15 for 2021. I've had a hell of a lot of fun picking movies, reviewing them, and making these videos, and of course writing the reviews for my website, movieassault.com. I hope you check that site out. And as always, feel free to click the thumbs up here, click that little bell so you get notified when I make a new video, and subscribe. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take it easy.